Awesome. Let me let some people in. So just curious before we get started, what maybe just give me a kind of lay of the land, or what are we looking to do? Mostly buyers, wholesalers, mix of both? What do we got going on?
Buyers.
All right, I love it.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Alex, thanks for bringing me here. You have no choice.
All right, guys. Well, let's just dive in. Today, we're kind of getting ready for the challenge. So the challenge will be on Friday. I'm actually going to be doing underwriting quite literally all day long on Friday. So if anyone has deals that they need help underwriting, that would be the great time to hop on the live and get some deals underwritten and kind of work things out and see what we can get in front of buyers. So on Saturday, we're going to be pitching to actual buyers. So we're going to be bringing buyers on and pitching deals. So whether you're a wholesaler or you're a buyer, there's going to be a place for you in this challenge. And today we're going to talk about setting up your buy box or your lend box, or even if you're a TC, I'm calling it a resource box, where you can have deals sent to you. So the platform we're using for this challenge is called Buy Box Club, and it's designed solely to make everybody money. Like, that's the sole purpose of it, is to connect people. It's kind of like the ultimate connector platform that we'll kind of dive into in a little bit. But what you're looking at right now, assuming you can see the right screen out of my bajillion screens I have, is my investor profile page. So everyone signing up for the challenge has the ability to get a free investor profile page. There's no cost to it. It's just completely free. So you could have your own page like this. So actually, let me go to my live one here. You can have your own page just like this. You can, obviously you'd have to come up with the video editing and put the video and all that stuff. But this is great for, at least from the video perspective, it's great for like agent credibility, that kind of stuff. Now, you may or may not want the agent seeing your buy box if it's like Morby Method, and you may confuse them. But the point is, like, I use this all the time on my own website just to establish credibility with agents. So if you have the opportunity and want to spend the time to create some sort of video like this, I strongly recommend it. It definitely has served me well. And I've been able to buy a lot of deals, honestly, I can't say just from, but a large part from being able to establish credibility very quickly. And a lot of times social media does that for you, right? Hold on, let me see. I got to blow up the chat here. Make this a little wider so I can see the chat. Mark, yeah, man, are you signed up for the underwriting pitch challenge? I think, I thought I saw you are. If not, it is underwritingpitchchallenge.com. Instead of just making up URLs, let me actually grab the real one. Hold on one second. So this is the site that you can just sign up and join. That's where I'm going to be putting the communication, the links, and you probably already got it if you're on this call, I believe. Okay, cool. So you got it. Perfect. Just in case, I'll just put it in the side chat. And I'm actually giving away a free vacation. So the first buyer, the first wholesaler to lock up a deal from this challenge will actually get a free vacation at my mountaintop property in Pigeon Forge. So pretty cool, actually giving away prizes this time. So there's a lot at stake. And if you actually referred the person that won, you actually get the same prize they do too. So you also have a lot of opportunities. If you're just like, hey, join the challenge and send it out to your friends, like, you'll get as many opportunities as you send it out, right? Or if you want to be, what's that what's that basketball term? I can't think of it. It's like when you, man, I'm drawing a blank. It's when you show up to a pickup game and you're like pretending that you really suck, but you're like really a badass. I can't remember what that's called. If anyone knows what that's called. No, it's not quite sandbagging. I don't know. I feel like there's a different term for it. I don't know what it is, but if you got some sleeper, maybe that's it. Sleeper, maybe? I don't know. If you got some sleeper buyer or some sleeper deals in your pipeline, this would be a great challenge to come on board and start slinging your deals to some buyers. So that's the challenge link to go ahead and join. But we're going to talk about creating your buy box, again, absolutely free, and not only buy box, lend box, that kind of stuff. So if we take a look at this, by the way, just as a caveat, I'm doing a lot of testing on software and stuff, so don't really believe anything you see on my profile. I'm just like changing stuff all the time. So just FYI, I don't do any lending, just FYI. But you can see resource box. So I got a CFO box here. And if you go to like my buy box for single family, so when you get people, wholesalers reaching out to you and they're just like, hey, send me your buy box, and you send them your JPEG, that's not really scalable, right? It's really, really hard for a wholesaler to put that in their CRM and be able to like actually find deals and match it to you, because they got to like print out your JPEG image and then try to find a deal based upon that, right? And that was the whole concept of this software, is to make it more programmatic. So deals that are being underwritten, they'll be matching against your buy box in real time. So that's kind of like the main core benefit of it. So you can see a lot of the criteria that I have set, purchase price range. So we're going to kind of cover one by one, depending on what kind of strategy that you have. So we got Morby method, we got sub two, we got multifamily we'll cover in a second. I know Mike has done a lot of multifamily underwriting recently, so maybe he can talk about his buy box and what he's looking for. But if we just want to cover Morby method real quick. So for me, this is, I'll tell you whether it's actually my buy box or not. We'll kind of go through it. Because again, I've been doing a lot of testing on this kind of stuff. So I don't necessarily know if this is my buy box or not, but we'll go through it one at a time. Purchase price range. For me, it's really hard to get financing with a purchase price under 100K. Not to say that you can't find lenders that are willing to go that low. You definitely can. It's just, I personally don't buy in that range because they're usually kind of like full rehab type of projects. And I'm more of a lipstick kind of guy. I don't wear lipstick, but lipstick flip kind of guy. So I don't really like to go below 120. And then I don't really want to go above 440, because anything above that, you really can't cash flow. And honestly, a lot of times anything above like 285,000 in single family, you can't cash flow on that either, unless you're doing like co-living. And I actually have a duplex that I bought here in Indianapolis for $440,000. I get $1,800 on each side. And surprisingly, that cash flows pretty decently. That's the like absolute highest and max purchase price that I've ever bought at for what I would consider an LTR. So that's why I put 440 as my max. Typically, I'm not usually buying, if we're talking single family for Morby methods, I'm not usually buying above 300K. So it's kind of in that 120 to 285, but I don't want to restrict myself from getting deals. So if you think about for this challenge, the way this works is when wholesalers are underwriting deals, they're going to be underwriting deals, and I'll show you here in a little bit. There is a match tab in the software, and it's going to tell them who matches with that deal. So if someone's underwriting a deal that's $1 million, and I'm saying I only want a deal for $440,000, that's not going to be showing up as a very high match, right? If at all. Like if you're completely out of the parameters, you're not going to be showing up at all. Like Mike, for example, he wants to buy multifamily. he's not even going to show up as a buyer in a single family mortgage method because that's not what he's looking for, nor does he want to see that kind of stuff, right? Well, actually, I don't know. I know he's hitting multifamily pretty hard. He may want to see single family. I don't know, but I know he is focused primarily on multifamily at the moment. So it really takes into consideration your true actual buy box, right? And it's going to give an actual ranking score based on the parameters that you set here. So for me, minimum cash flow, I like to see at least 100, ideally. Sometimes, I mean, my target would be around 300, I would say. Honestly, for a mortgage method, single family, it's honestly really tough. It's very rare that I find a property that can actually cash flow $300 a month. It honestly is usually $100, honestly, which is pretty sad because all that takes is literally like 1 month of vacancy and it's just like poof, gone. For example, I have a tenant moving in tomorrow into that duplex I mentioned that I purchased for $440,000. That property it's been actually empty for over a month, probably like a month and a half now. But it's been marketed for 4 months because the tenant was moving out. He was actually a great tenant. He relocated to a different state. I was sad to see him go, but he let me know like months in advance. So I had been marketing this thing for like almost 4 months, and it literally took me almost 4 months to get a tenant. And so for the last month, it fully came out of my pocket. So that's a $1,800 check that I had to stroke to cover the mortgage, right? So when you look at cash flow being $100 a month, that can get wiped away so fast. Like the cost of repairs these days is insane. You can't even get anybody to show up to your house for $100. Like you just can't. So anything you have go wrong that month, cash flow is gone. So just something to consider, but you also don't want to set a unrealistic buy box to where it's like, oh, I'm only, I want a single family. I'm going to do LTR, but I want $1,000 cash flow a month. If that's your parameter, you're not going to show up, at all, right? Like on the matches, you're going to be at the very bottom of the list. And if you look at DSCR lenders, a lot of them will go, they're happy with a ratio of 1 for DSCR. And ideally, they would like to see it at 1.25. You're going to get the highest you're going to get the highest or lowest. I don't know how to explain that. You're going to be in the highest bracket, which really results, I guess I'm confusing you guys. You're going to be in the best bracket for interest rate relative to DSCR if it's at 1.25 or above. So just something to keep in mind, but they will do loans at 1, and they'll even do loans below 1, but I would not recommend doing loans below 1. That's just, unless you have some exit strategy that actually makes sense to where you're maybe getting financing as LTR, but then you're going to do co-living as your main exit. You would obviously want to make sure you get approval from your lender to do that, as long as they're okay with that. That could be a realistic reason why you'd be buying a property under a DSCR of 1. And then you can see my target locations. So these are the locations that I'm buying at, and these are the locations that you could be buying at as well. And you'll have the ability to go in there and select. And then each investor, each buyer, has the ability to place a different weighting emphasis on what's important to them. So what's important to me may not be what's important to you, right? So if you look at, for me, for example, I have a 5% weighting on DSCR. Obviously, I don't care that much about the DSCR. That one's a little bit misleading which is why I didn't put a whole lot of weighting on it, because the cash flow itself, like if there's no cash flow, your DSCR is going to be pretty poor anyways. So I mainly care about the cash flow, right? You can see I have a 20% weighting on that versus, DSCR is only 5%. And then buyer surplus. So that means getting funds at closing, excess funds, like getting paid at closing. When I'm doing Morby method transactions, I always get paid at closing. That's just the way I structure my deals. I'll put that, into reserves and, make sure I have adequate capital to operate properties because it's expensive. Just like I was saying, I have to stroke a check for $1,800 a month. Real estate is expensive. So you want to have reserves to plan for that. So that's why I have buyer surplus as the most important weighting on my scoring priority. And then cash and maturity. This really represents your over leverage, your point of over leverage. Whenever your exit period is, let's say 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, whatever balloon you have negotiated with the seller, if you have one, most of the times you do have one, that's what it's looking at. It's looking at what is the property worth at, let's say, 6 years, and how much is your debt pay down at that time, and what's like your overall debt stack look like what's your total payoff, not just the DSCR but also the underlying seller finance mortgage, all of that combined compared to the hopefully appreciated value of the property. And then also taking in consideration that you're probably going to be around 80% LTV on a refinance loan max. Looking at all of that, right? It's doing a calculation that says, hey, is this deal over leveraged? Yes or no? And so for me, I place a high importance on that because I don't want to be over leveraged in my exit, if that makes sense. So this is a pretty good representation. Like this actually is a pretty, let me see, hold on. For me specifically, like I'm open to partnering with people nationwide on like JV partner, equity partner, paid consultant, whatever on Morby method. So really for me, I would really expand this to like all 50 states. I would say, I would expand this to all 50 states because, realistically I'll partner with people on wherever their deal is, as long as someone is local and boots on the ground, because I don't want to be, in the middle of it operating it, but I'll definitely help people close these kind of deals. So I would want my name to show up on like every state, and I don't want to restrict those opportunities from me. So think about that when you're creating your buy box profile. Then we have sub 2. Right. So this is kind of very similar concept, but sub 2 is a little bit different. So you can set your parameters, your entry fee, your target interest rate, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that's kind of gives you some basic understanding of what you're looking at here. And if I go back to, if you joined late, I'll just go back to really quickly. Everyone in the challenge that, gets signed up on here. And again, this challenge is totally free. You can sign up on here totally free. You get a investor profile website just like this. Obviously you got to come up with your own video, but it has all the buy box, information. You can put your profile, you can put custom links, you can put your social media links, all that kind of stuff. So it can be your like investor website. And the way I'm using this now is what happens is I get a lot of deals sent to me, and it's wholesalers sending me deal flow, and they want me to like look at the deal, and it's like this 3 to 7 page memorandum of like all this information like scattered just like all over the place. And it's really hard for me to carve out the time to like look at all that information. And so now what I'm doing is I'm using this to tell wholesalers, hey, I'm not going to look at your deal unless you send it to me through here. And it's going to benefit them because it's going to underwrite the deal for them. And then it's going to tell them whether or not it's a good deal based upon like what I want. So it really answers that question without them waiting for me to reply 7 days later. And usually it's too late. I've missed a lot of opportunities on good deals because I just didn't respond quick enough, because it wasn't a priority. And I didn't, I just flat out didn't prioritize it. Now I don't really have to if I'm just driving traffic to people submitting deals. So I'm always going to make this free for wholesalers, like a free version, enough for them to send deals, because I want wholesalers on the platform sending deals. And that's why I have this challenge, right? I want deal volume. I want wholesalers to come in and underwrite properties and send deals and send them to not just me, send them to all you, right? Like send them to buyers and get like deal flow transacting on the platform. Like that's really for me, that's what's in it for me of this challenge, is to get just deal flow on the platform. So I'm going to go into to kind of get a little bit more technical and go into the software itself on how you can start getting this set up. There's a profile section that you can view your website, right? Once you publish it, you do have to publish it. So if you don't publish it, it will not be anywhere. It won't be in the marketplace. So if you go on the marketplace right now, you can see these are real investors. Like you can go and look at everyone's buy box, right? So if you have a question of like, where do I find buyers? Like here are buyers right here. We actually have close to 100 people on the platform, but only 59 of them have published their profile. So I got to go and hunt the other, 40 to be able to publish their profile. Because if you don't hit that publish button, it's not going to show up here. So there's actually a lot more people on it. They just haven't filled out their profile. So the link here, let me just put the link in the side chat. If Alex or hey, hold on, who said that? Alexa, I think you signed up for the challenge, and it may have gone to your junk, but I'll just go ahead and put that in here. Okay, cool. Yeah, you should have gotten an email. It may have been in your junk, but it has the link to that website there, and you'll want to go ahead and get your profile signed up and everything. Okay, cool. Awesome. So you can go and check out, like Monique's a good friend of mine. She's got like over 2,000 doors. So she's a buyer on the platform. There's a lot of, Owners Club members on here, a lot of different people that they're going to be buying. Oh, she's actually coming into the Zoom right now. A lot of different people are going to be buying deals, right? So we want to get like wholesalers on here sending deal flow. And if we go back to mine real quick, so if you go into your profile, this is where you literally just put in your basic information, and you put in your profile information, all that kind of stuff. And then if you go into like media, this is just your basic stuff. So if you don't have a video, you can put a picture banner in place of the video, right? To make it look a little bit more professional. And then if you have other links, you can put links in there too. Any, video links, anything like that you want to put in there, any resources you could add, hey, book a call with me, that kind of stuff, put in your Calendly, all that kind of stuff. And I'm open to suggestions. If you guys like, hey, I really would like to see this, I'm happy to go and, get that implemented for you. Put in your social media links so you can see all mine there. And then if you go into the actual, we'll just cover buy box right here. If you go into buy box, so this is my single family buy box, and this is where I'm going in and entering in the criteria that's important to me. And we've already covered that, when we kind of did this review of the actual site. So you can go in there and put that in, and then you can assign the weighting. So I can change this. So if I change this, if I decide, hey, you know what? Monthly cash flow isn't that important to me anymore. I want to place way more emphasis on cash at maturity because I got burned in a deal and I don't ever want to do that again. You can change it. It will change your results. Just so you know, when people are sending deals, and I'll show you in a second, it will change what gets calculated as your score because you've changed the weighting and the allocation of it. Let's see. This will be important for you in the future. I don't want to have, personally, as a buyer, like I don't want to have my time get wasted. Anthony, yes, it was in the email. Give me a second, actually. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the code. That's a good question. There was a 30-day trial for the premium. Again, I'm always going to have a free version, but you probably should sign up for the premium version trial, because you won't have as many features. Let me get that code here give me a second. Hold on. I forgot what the code was. Where did I put that? Okay, let me put that in the chat. Here you go. This is a 30-day challenge. So you don't put in any credit card. I don't ask for credit card information. Legit, just straight up free. So leave your credit card at home. Don't worry about it. But you'll want to take note of this minimum match threshold. If someone sends you a shitty deal, I don't even want to know about it. I'll show you where it will be. Actually, I'll show you that right now. So if I go into my deals, if someone sends me a shitty deal, it's going to go into my request folder. If someone sends me a deal that actually matches my buy box, it's going to go into my matches folder, if that makes sense. So that's going to be important threshold for you. If I go back into the settings, actually, it's in each individual buy box. So if I go into my single family buy box, what this is saying is like, hey, if it's below a match score of 80, it's not a good fit for me. I don't really want to prioritize that. And then you can change this, right? If you're just like, dude, I don't care what the deal is, as long as, you know, I can put a tenant in there that has a heartbeat and they can breathe, and I can make, you know, if I'm just doing this for tax reasons, you could set it down to 60, 65. For me, 80 is like a really good threshold, because every time I've underwritten a deal, and based on, you know, everything I put, every time I've underwritten a deal and I've been like, I don't know if it's a good fit. Like, it could be a good deal. It may not be a good deal. I don't love it right now. It usually is around 75 to 80. Like, that's the bracket range every single time. So without even me looking at the score, that's like my gut feeling of like, we're on the cusp of being a good deal. So it's, for me, that 80 is like pretty good breaking point for me. You may want to be less aggressive, and then that way you can lower that parameter and then you'll get more matches, right? But if you really want to tighten it to 90, then you're obviously going to get less matches, but it's going to be highly, highly filtered. Now, you'll still be able to access every deal that gets sent to you. It just won't be in an area where it's like prioritized for you. Like when you have the your threshold set up, you'll get like an email and stuff, and versus the other ones, it'll just be there whenever you log in. So that is definitely going to be important. There's some other things that I'm working on right now. One of the features that I'm working on, it's not ready yet. It won't be ready for the challenge, unfortunately. I was hoping it would be. You will be able to, in the future, here, I'll just kind of give you a quick little glimpse, be able to bulk upload a list of properties. Let me see. Here's my little test file here. You'll be able to upload a list of properties and the system will just underwrite all the properties for you. So you can see that it pulled in the information that it was able to pull in. I'm still testing this feature, so it's not quite ready yet, but it just created 2 deals in the system and it's underwriting it based on my assumptions. So you can see these are the 2 deals that it came up with. So according to the underwriting that it did based on my default assumptions, both of these deals passed underwriting. So I have some logic built in here that if it doesn't meet my threshold, it will fail. And if it does meet my threshold, it will be passed. And then I can prioritize deals based on that. And then I can go in and start like diving into it more and doing a deeper level underwriting, but at least you could bulk upload. So that's a feature I'm working on that'll probably be out probably in the next week or so. Not this week, but probably more of next week. I'm really excited about that because that's when I'm going to get to scale. So that's when I'm just going to start mass underwriting properties. And I used LOI Blaster, and I love LOI Blaster, but the thing that I didn't like is that I was uploading a mass list, blasting it out, and a lot of the responses I was getting, their agents were calling me, and I start talking to them. I'm like, man, this is a shitty deal. Like, I don't even want this deal. And it's because we're just like blasting out this like cold list. And this will be different because I'm like filtering through the whole list and making sure it's like at least a decent deal before I start sending out all those LOIs. So that way I can have highly filtered conversations with agents and don't have to like walk and dance out of this conversation of like, oh, like, what do you mean you're not interested? You're the one that sent me the LOI. And I'm like, that's a great point. Thank you. I don't really say that, but I usually blame it on my fictitious underwriter that doesn't exist and say, oh, my team they must have underwritten this deal and made a mistake. I'll have to go back and do some training, or, usually say some stuff like that. But that's one of the things that we're working on. So if you let's say if we open up one of these deals here, I'm just going to open up a random deal. And when we talk about how the buy box is going to be important, if we look at this, it will have your score. Let me pull up a deal that's like decent. That's probably not a decent deal, but we can make it a decent deal. Give me a second. Hold on. That's the beauty of making numbers up. You can make anything look like a good deal. So why is this not a good deal? Hold on one second. We're not doing underwriting training today, but I just want to give you an idea of what you can expect based on my buy box, why this is not a good deal. Oh, that's probably why. I'm turning this into a lot better of a deal here in a second. Let's see. Yeah, that's a better deal. Okay, so now we're looking at an 88% match on my personal buy box. And if I'm a wholesaler, I know a lot of people that are both wholesalers and buyers. If I'm a buyer, I could look at it and see, oh, wow, that's a pretty good match for my buy box, right? But you can also look at other people's buy boxes as well. So Jason, according to this deal, this is a pretty good deal because it hits his target. Jason's looking for a $100 target on monthly cash flow. He's looking for a DSCR of 1.2, and he's looking for a buyer surplus of 30K. So we've met or exceeded all of those expectations on his buy box. So that's why it's ranked at 100. And then if we just go down the list, Jay's looking for at least 300. So that's why I didn't score that high on him. Now, what I should probably do is bring in the weights, because this tells me just by looking at it, because he hit 100 on everything else, he must have a high weighting on his cash flow, right? Like that must be really important to Jay. So you can kind of just see where these deals rank on people's buy boxes. So for Monique, for example, her target is $400. I know that because I'm looking at it, right? I can see it on the screen. So that's going to be what we're going to be doing as far as this challenge. And let me kind of, I'm not going to get into this training too much today. We'll do that like on Friday, but the whole challenge, the way it's going to work, essentially, if you're going to be a wholesaler or you're going to be a buyer, you're going to have the ability to send the deals to those investors. Okay. You'll be able to hit send. So you'll be able to search, like if I want to send this to Jason, you can send, for some reason, Jason, I think he has two different profiles because he just loves the software so much. You'll be able to send this deal to Jason. I'm not going to send it to him now, and he will be able to see it. And then when the deal gets received by Jason, he'll actually be able to go in and make changes to the deal without affecting your version and be able to send it back to you for feedback. And you can have this kind of like two-way communication on changing the deal, right? So if you're a wholesaler, this is pretty big because you're going to be able to like pre-vet deals and make sure it matches to buyers before you even lock it up under contract. And it's pretty big for buyers because you're going to eliminate all the bullshit and you're going to remove all the bad deals and just get highly filtered good deals, right? So it's kind of a win-win for both parties. But that's why it's going to be important for you buyers to set up your buy box. So spend some time setting up your buy box, and I will be live all day Friday, starting around whenever I wake up. I don't know what time I'm going to wake up, 4:30, 5 a.m., something like that, or earlier. I don't know, but I'll be live all day long, literally sitting in front of my screen, just underwriting deals, working on releasing different things and catching up on my own portfolio. Just like the whole day is being spent working on just real estate stuff, and I'm going to be doing it live. So if you have any questions, just feel free to hop on and we can chat and walk through anything that you need help with. So it takes some time to flip through this stuff. So we didn't really cover this, but you can go in and put it in locations. So if you want to like, hey, I only want to buy in red states, right? Then you can go in and filter on that. Then you can go in and you can change it per strategy, right? I may just say, hey, for sub 2, I'm not buying anything unless it's in Indiana. That may be the attitude. And for me personally, that is true. I don't want to buy anything sub 2 unless it's in Indiana. But for Morby Methods, like I'm down to partner nationwide. Like it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to update that. And then this updates on my site and, people can see that now. So now instead of me just showing up in the 29 states, I'm going to show up in all of them. Right. Then you have, LOIs. We're not really going to cover that in the challenge, but you can customize LOIs in the platform once you get your email like set up and everything. But that, for the purpose of this challenge, you can just kind of ignore this, but that's what this is for, is to set up your LOI templates, and you can have a different LOI template for each asset class. So if you look at multifamily, let's dive into multifamily real quick, because we may have some multifamily people here. Multifamily is different from single family, right? So there's different things that we're looking at. We're looking at cap rate. We're looking at NOI. Those are probably the two biggest things. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff, but in terms of underwriting, I'd say that's the biggest like mindset shift of like looking at deals. It's cap rate NOI versus, just cash flow, right? So that's what you can go in and enter that in here. I also have, this is helpful for me. This is really helpful for me. I don't know, Mike, if you've used this at all. I actually kind of forgot about this until now, honestly. But if I put in a purchase price of 1 million to 5 million, and if I look at this helps me figure out like what does my NOI target need to look at. The way I kind of put this little helpful hint here is if I'm basically putting this as I'm going to buy a property at 100% LTV. And if you really think about it, the whole concept of OPM, like other people's money, whether you call it Morby method or you get a loan from a bank or a hard money lender, and then you raise capital for the gap funding, the down payment, like at the end of the day, it's still 100% LTV. Like you're just not getting it in the sense of maybe you're not having a second position recorded if you bring in partners or however you structure it, right? Most people buying real estate in this community, like one way or another, however you slice it, like it's 100% LTV, like from some sort of lending source, right? So I am setting the NOI target based on that to say, hey, calculate a mortgage payment based on 100% of this price and 100% of this price, and do it at 8%, which is a very, like in at least today's market, when this is filmed, a very aggressive number, right? Because you're getting loans for less than 8% now. So I'm being conservative by saying that. So whatever that annual payment is for a $1 million mortgage at an 8% interest rate, take that number, which this is saying is $92,618. Then take my monthly cash flow goals. So if my goal is to make $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year. Combine those two numbers together, and that's what should be my NOI target for my minimum. Okay. So it's doing the same thing here based on 5 million. So if I change this to 2 million, that number here, this helpful little hint will change, and it'll tell me, okay, based on what I want from cash flow and purchase price, my minimum NOI needs to be 197,236. And then you can go in here and change that to whatever, to the 197 if you want. It's just there to be helpful. I find it incredibly helpful to have that. I'm going to change this back to 1 million because that's where I want to keep that at. So then if you look at, again, LOI settings, pretty self-explanatory. I don't have this LOI portion integrated yet, but the reason why I have this beginner cash to seller is when I start sending out LOIs, I'm going to send out offers at a lower down payment. And if there's any like big takeaway from today, that's like one of my biggest negotiation hacks slash tips that I can give you is that let's go right here for a second. Let me pull up a deal. Hold on, let me change something. I had let's see, single family. I don't want that to be overwritten. Okay, give me a second. Okay. All right. So the seller in this deal, in this particular deal, is not going to like the fact that I'm going to ask them for $100 monthly payment seller financing. Like they're just not. Because if I was going to do this $137,000 amortized over, let's say, you know, here's what the seller really wants. They really want this, right? There ain't no way I'm paying this seller $1,000 a month because look, I would be losing my ass by doing that. So I'm definitely not paying the seller $1,000 a month. That's what the seller wants. Okay. That's not what I'm going to give them. I'm going to really try to land at $100 a month. So in my LOI, if I just come swinging out of the gate with $100 a month in monthly payment and I give them, hey, I'm going to give you a 60% down payment straight out of the gate, I have zero room to negotiate, and they're only going to focus on that $100 monthly payment. That's all they're going to care about. They're going to be like, no way I'm not doing a $100 monthly payment. Well, you have no chips left to negotiate because you've given them everything, right? So when we go and take a look at this, what is this, 1524? Okay. When we go back to your buy box and we take a look at this, for this, when I start like generating LOIs at scale, which will be probably sometime in the end of next week, the system's gonna underwrite it for you, upload a spreadsheet, it's gonna underwrite it, and then it's gonna be able to send out LOIs. That's like the goal for the end of next week. That's what I'm racing towards. And so those offers are gonna start at 30%, even though I really gonna land probably at 50, is because I don't want to start at 50 and I have nothing else to give. I want that $100 monthly payment. So I'm going to start at 30. And then when they balk in my $100 monthly payment, I'll go back to them and say, how about I just give you all that up front? Like you want $1,000 a month. I want $100. So we have a gap, right? How about I just give you a huge chunk of that gap up front and you just capture as much money as possible? I'm willing to go up to 50%. But I really need that $100 monthly payment. Like that's really critical because I need to cash flow. I need to pay the bills. You, Mr. Seller, you don't want me in a position where I can't pay the bills, right? Like that would be bad for you. Sure, we could lock up this deal and maybe I'd be fine for 4 or 5 months, but you don't want me coming back to you in 5 or 6 months saying I can't pay the seller finance payment. Like that's not going to do you any good. So let's make it to where you and I both know that I can pay the bills every single month. That $100 monthly payment is really important to me. I'll give you that 50% down, even though I started at 30, but I was willing to go to 50 anyways from the beginning, right? So that's just one of those negotiation tactics. So that's why I built it in here to go for starting at 30% in my offers and then working myself back up. I did forget that I was on Facebook Live and YouTube right now, so I hope no agents are watching my negotiation tactics because then they'll know what I'm doing with my offers. Cool. So I hope that is a pretty good explanation. I think I pretty much covered everything for like financial criteria, going into locations, LOI settings, all that kind of stuff. So play around with it. If you got any questions, you know where I'll be on Friday. I'll be here all day long. What else? Oh, last thing, buyers. If you are a buyer, tell me right now that you want to be highlighted and featured on Saturday for whenever. Is this recorded? That's a great question. Is it recorded? I think so. Hold on one second. I know it's definitely recorded on my YouTube channel right now. Where can I see if this is recorded? Yeah, we're recording this right now. Okay, cool. So, okay, cool. I didn't even finish my sentence, but thank you, everybody. I want to highlight the buyers because what I'm going to be doing in this training, in that featured training, is I'm going to be training people to send deals. Now, I just want to set expectations. Let's be realistic. Like, we're not going to lock up a deal in one day. I mean, it could very well happen. I think I have till like, I'll have to go check the website. What did I put? Hold on. Let me check the website real quick. Underwriting pitch. I put the challenge rules down here. I'm giving people till 1:15 to get a deal under contract. So it's not like, hey, at the end of Saturday, if you don't get under contract, no one wins. Like, let's be realistic. Like some of the stuff takes time. So the goal is for people to, like, if you have leads already, bring them, underwrite them, and we'll start pitching them to buyers. But I want to highlight you buyers at the very least, get you spotlighted, get you some exposure, get people like, get your name in their heads for them to start sending you deals and fitting your buy box and like actually sending deals that actually match your buy box. That's the goal. So for everyone that said me, I am not smart enough to figure out how to save the chat. Maybe I should figure that out. Save chat. Okay, cool. Is there any chat group or WhatsApp group for Founders Club? No, there's not, but that's a good idea. I was thinking about creating a Discord, honestly, because I'm on Discord like all day long. I'm not like physically on Discord, but it's open on my computer all day long. No Discord. Okay. All right. You're not a fan of the Discord. I like Discord. I just don't like it when there's 7 million channels. But if there's only a couple, like I personally like it. WhatsApp is great. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that. We could look at doing something like that for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously the intent of, so on that, I'm not going to talk too much about that, but the intent of that is for people to like do deals together. So we have this mastermind included with the software where we're just collaborating and doing deals together. And anyone that needs like feature improvements of like, hey, I really need this for my business, I just go out and build it and put it in there. So those are things that we're putting out there. And I also have another thing that's coming out soon. It'll probably be ready tomorrow. Let me see. Where is it? Give me a second. I won't waste too much time trying to find this, but give me 1 second. I might be able to find it. No, I won't be able to find it. Well, I'll just tell you about it. I have a chat feature that you can chat with the investors too. Like if you're like sending deals back and forth to each other, it's like a kind of like an iMessage type of experience where you can like live chat with people. So that's pretty cool. It's coming along, working pretty well. So I'm excited about that one too. Okay, so I got all the people that are no Discord, no Slack. Noted. Okay, everyone says no to the Discord idea. Glad I asked. Hey, what's up, Greg? What's your thoughts? I'm only replying 30 minutes later, so my bad. Okay, so we have a handful of buyers. So between 11 and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, that's when I'm going to be featuring the buyers. That's for 2 hours. So I think we have enough buyers here that, we can easily spend some time featuring them. So let me make sure if you want to be featured, go ahead and please type in one more time, like feature me, or the people that said me already, I'll get that. I'm going to save the chat. But if you want to be on that list, let me know now. And I'm going to save the chat here in a second so that way I can make sure to reach out to you and bring you up on here. What I'll do is I'll send you a StreamYard link because I'm going to be live on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and you'll be the ones to have that link, and then I'll bring you up on stage and we'll kind of like talk podcast style and get people to send you deals. Actually, on Saturday, this would be better. When we're doing the recording on Saturday, I'm going to be pushing, or the training, I'm going to be pushing people to send deals to everyone here that is saying they want to be buyers that are featured. So that's what I'm going to have them do. I'm going to have that list of people to send to, and I'm going to have them sent. They're going to send deals on the platform. So make sure you have your buy box set up, because if you don't have it set up yet, by the time we get to Friday, they're not going to be able to send you deals anywhere. So you want to make sure you have it set up and make sure it's realistic, so that way I can push people over to you. Does anyone have any questions? That's all I have for today. So I just wanted to keep it brief. I just wanted to do like a basic intro training on how to get set up. So that way, yeah. What's up, Mike? What do you got?
How are you filtering who's got access to these deals? Because this is open to people outside the community, right?
Yes. When you say how am I filtering, could you clarify that?
Well, originally you said you're gonna be able to post their deals up there and allow us to take a look at them, right?
Yes.
On the platform.
Yes.
How are you filtering those lenders to see who's legit and who's out to pick up deals from other people?
What do you mean by that for on the lender side?
Well, how do you screen the lenders to make sure they're actual lenders? That they're not other investors trying to steal our deals. All right, you're going to present the deal up there, right? You're going to present it with the address and everything else, and it becomes public. It's a deal that's
correct. Well, you can actually, I'll do a double take on that. Let me write that down, because that is a feature that I'll have to test to make sure it works. You do have an option to hide the address and not share the address, but you can send all the details of it. And when you hide the address, it'll just say city and state. Like that's what I will double check to make sure that that's appropriately occurring. But that is an important, yeah, correct. You would not want, the address just like, you wouldn't want to be sharing your screen like I am, like just sharing all that stuff. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me take notes.
I have a question also.
Yes.
So, like, is there an easy way? I think you mentioned in the beginning, and again, I'm new to this, so it's a kind of stupid question, but
yeah,
I'm gonna ask it. So, what's the easy way? So, I have now like a potential property, like 40K, 425K. Anyway, so is there an easy way to see whether it's a good fit for like a Morbi method? And it seems like the seller agrees for 50%, okay, for 5% for 5 or 7 years,
Yeah.
So is there like a napkin underwriting the rule of thumb? I think you mentioned something 275 or something. Should be up to 275.
Are you talking single family, or what are you talking?
Single. In this case, it's single. Yeah.
And is your exit LTR or is it co-living?
So as an LTR, it doesn't work because the rent is too low. Even we run it as a co-living, still like it was kind of very on the border, if it's a deal or no deal.
Yeah.
Is there any like napkin guidelines, like so that you know how to dive deep into property more?
Yeah, I'm always looking at the 1% rule. I'm looking at rent comps relative to the purchase price. I think usually if I can get it to be about 0.9, so not even quite 1%, like 0.9%, that usually will put me in the ballpark of a deal that I can probably massage and make work, or it's high enough to where I can spend the time underwriting it properly, right? If that makes sense.
It's far from this.
Okay.
With LTR, it just doesn't.
Yeah. But if it's co-living, I mean, you got to weigh that, you know, you got to look at it from there's risk in co-living too, right? You got to make sure you hit your numbers. So if it, you know, some deals just don't pencil out, right? So, but if you're asking as far as napkin math, that's, you know, that's usually what I'm looking at, napkin math. Just kind of high level concepts. I would say 1% rule. Morby methods don't usually ever pencil out from an over leverage perspective less than 7 years in single family. I'm usually 7 is the minimum. It's usually for me the sweet spot's like between 8 and 10. That's usually where I can get to the point here. And I'll actually, well, we're gonna do some underwriting training on Friday, but let me share my screen real quick. If I can figure that out, hold on one second. Oh, there we go. Desktop 1. Okay, cool. So if you look at, I'm just going to open up this random deal for a second and play around with the numbers. So if I look at, let's see. This right here is looking at my leverage position. So we got 50% seller financing. Hold on one second. Let me go back to another deal. That was one of those deals I imported that I told you that wasn't quite working yet. So let me go back to something like this.
Yeah, you want to see a couple examples of deals that are working, you know, just so that you know, frame it in your brain, you know, and okay, this is okay, yeah, it's close to those.
So what this will do is it will look at, if you see if I'm moving the years, right? It's looking at your bank loan payoff over time.
And that's what you need to bring to the table to refinance, yeah.
Correct. So that kind of does that for you as you're looking at your maturity date. You can see the debt being paid down and the appreciation of the property over time. So if I go, let's see. Trying to find ones that I haven't been just like spending all this time jacking around with and breaking it. That's probably a better one. But we'll cover more on Friday. I'm going to be doing a bunch of underwriting training on Friday all day long. That makes sense?
Yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, you said the 1% rule, you know, and we always should be underwriting for LTRs, yes, in general, because something changes tomorrow, and we can't do anything with this property.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I would.
Manage to say that these are deals they were penciling out, you know, for the 1% rule, yes.
Correct. Close. Yeah. I mean, 0.9 and above, I'm usually pretty close at that point.
0.9.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, if you need help with the WhatsApp group, you know, okay.
Appreciate it, man.
I'll put you as an admin, you know. Like,
Cool. Oh, shoot. I got to save that chat. Hold on. I'm going to lose that. Let's see. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? And the main, quote unquote, main event for the training, at least, will be Friday from like 5 to 6. But I will be basically doing it all day long, if that makes sense. Let me make sure that I actually was able to pick up this chat.
So if won't be Zoom. Yes, it will be only on your stream.
I don't know.
That's the way you can-
I think I haven't honestly haven't decided. I think I may do it on Zoom. The problem with social media is that you're on social media and people have squirrel brains, and then they're like, "Oh, let me go check out this post and this post," and then they scroll off the page, and then they just like they're there for 10 seconds. But when you're on Zoom, it's like much more of a formal commitment, right? You don't just get up, you don't just leave and then come back, leave and come back. And what I find is a lot of people do that on social media. They're like listening for 10 seconds and then they get squirrel brain and then go leave and do something else and then come back and all that kind of stuff. I am not even seeing this chat save, so I'm just going to do some old school, literally copy and paste in this whole chat. Okay, cool. Does anyone? Oh shoot, that did not work. Okay, I really need to figure out how to save this chat. I guess if I'm the meeting creator and you guys leave, I still have this up on my screen, right? I think that's how that works.
I can send you. I downloaded the chat. I can send you.
Oh, you have the chat? Okay. Yeah.
At least let me see. I did save. Yeah. Let's see what is there.
Oh, I got it. It came through here. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now I got it. Now we're good to go. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I appreciate it, everyone. And then for the ones that signed up for Saturday, I'll make sure to start sending deals your way and kind of get deals underwritten. And then over that period of time of the next week or two, you'll start getting some deal flow.
So let's collaborate.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, everyone. Well, if you don't have any other questions, have a good night, and I will see you guys Friday. No Zoom tomorrow. It's just Friday and Saturday. So, all right, everyone. I will talk to you guys later. Take care. If I can figure out how to leave. All right. See you guys. All right. If you're watching on Facebook or on social media, unless you got any questions, I'm going to call it a day. All right. I will see y'all on Friday. We're going to be going at it all night, all morning, all day, all night, all following morning, all following day. So looking forward to it. Going to be going 34 hours straight.